that really don't look very similar at all to your quiz. So if you want, you can skip number 6 and you can skip number 10. And I also actually took off distance formula from your quiz because I don't want you to have your computer out. So you don't have to do number 7 or 8 either. I'm still going to go through and show you how to do all of them, but these ones don't look very similar to the quiz. So it's like extra practice, but it's not super necessary to like focus on. So for number 1, 1 through 4 on your quiz are multiple choice instead of you having to write this in, just so you know. So for number 1, it says name 2 points collinear to point K. So point K is here. Collinear means that it falls on the same line. So there are 2 options. Well, there's actually a lot of options, but any 2 points that fall on the same line as K. So line K, or like point K is here. So you could look at this line, which is J and L. Or you can look this way and say M and N. Those are also on the same line. You could also technically do a combination of these. You could do H and M because they both fall on the same line as K. They're just, K is going through a bunch of different ways. But those are the main ones that I think people are going to say. That's why it's going to be multiple choice, because there's too many possible answers. So number 2 says, give another name for line B. So line B goes this way. To say line B, you could use 2 points that are on this line. The only option here is to say HK with the line on top, or you could literally say the word line HK. Once again, that's why it's multiple choice. Number 3 says, name the intersection of line C. So line C is this one. And plane R. Plane R is this whole flat surface. So you want to know where it crosses past. It stabs through the piece of paper. That's why this part is dashed. So the intersection, the only possible answer is K for the intersection question. And then 4 says, name a point non-coplanar to plane R. Non-coplanar means something not on the same plane. Plane R is the parallelogram. So you need something off of the plane. The only 2 options are M and N. C is not a point, C is a line. So you could say M or N. Once again, that is why those are going to be multiple choice, because there's too many ways to write it. So just so you know, on the quiz tomorrow, it's multiple choice. Number 5. This one looks very similar to your quiz tomorrow. It says, if DF is 42, find DE. So if I put this in my picture, DF is 42. This whole distance is a length of 42. I'm going to use segment addition to add my pieces together. So I'm doing piece 7x plus 1. I'm adding the other piece, which is 4x minus 3. I'm equaling it to the total. The total is 42. So to solve this from algebra 1, we are going to combine like terms. 7x and 4x come together. 7x and 4x make 11x. If I combine 1 and -3, that makes -2. When you are combining like terms, you are adding the stuff together. So I'm going to add 2. 11x equals 44. Divide by 11, divide by 11. X equals 4. Now, the only problem with this is you have to plug it back in because you need to find the length of DE. DE is this whole section right here. So I'm going to plug it back in to 7x plus 1. So I'm going to plug it back in 7x plus 1. I'm substituting 4 in. So I'm replacing the x with a 4. So 7 times 4 plus 1. 7 times 4 gives me 28. I'm adding 1, so that makes 29. So 29 equals DE, or DE equals 29, or just 29. Number 6 is the same kind of problem. It's a little bit harder, so it's not on the quiz, but we'll still go through it. So it says in the diagram below, J to L, the whole thing is 10x minus 2. J to K is 5x minus 8. K to L is 7x minus 12. We need to find K out. So I'm taking little piece, which is 5x minus 8. I'm adding 7x minus 12. And I'm equaling it to the whole distance, which is 10x minus 2. I'm going to start by combining like terms. So if I add my x's over here, 5 and 7 come together. They add to make 12x. I'm going to do the same thing with my numbers. -8 and -12. Those are both negative. They come together. They add to make -20. I'm going to bring down the other side, which is equal to 10x minus 2. So I'm going to move the 20. You could add 20 to both sides, or you could add 2 to both sides. It doesn't matter. I'm going to move the 20. So I'm going to plus 20 plus 20. So 12x equals 10x. -2 plus 20 does not make 22. It makes 18. Because the 2 is negative. I'm going to move the 10 to the other side using subtraction. So minus 10x minus 10x. So 2x equals 18. Last step is I'm going to divide by 2. So x equals 9. It says find KL. So I'm going to plug that back into KL. KL is this amount. So I'm plugging it into 7x minus 12. So I have to substitute my answer back in. So 7 times 9 minus 12. 7 times 9 is 63 minus 12. 51. So KL equals 51, or just 51 is fine too. And if you find X and you forget to plug it back in, obviously you're still getting some credit. Just not all. So 7 and 8 I put on here. They were going to be on the quiz, and then I took them off because I don't want you to use your computers. So it says find ST if S and T are these. If it says find ST, that just is the distance formula. So this is where we're going to use the Desmos calculator. So you're just plugging it into your formula on your reference sheet. So you should have -2 minus -3 squared plus 3 minus 10 squared. So online on your online calculator, I'm going to drag it over, and then I'm just typing it in. And this is why I'm going to push out your computers out. So we're going to say -2. You're minusing -3. And then we're going to plug in 3 minus 10 on the other side. So you should get 7.07. I think it says so, around 7.07. Number 8, we're doing the same thing. We're going to find BC. So I just plug it into my formula. I have x2, which is -4. I'm subtracting x1, which is 8 squared. I'm adding -2 minus -7 squared. So I just have to type this in. Minus -7. Minus 8. So you get, I think that says 13 exactly. Yeah, 13. So this is exactly 13, which is nice. Okay. The last one that's actually on the quiz is midpoint of 2 points. You have 2 questions like this. So I basically took my distance formula problem and turned it into a midpoint. That way you don't have to use a calculator. So find the coordinates of midpoint of HK if H and K are this and this. We take our X's and we add them together. So I take -1, I add -7. So -1 plus -7. And then I divide by 2. So -1 plus -7 is -8. -8 divided by 2 is -4. I also do the same thing for the Y's. So I take my Y's, 2 and -4. I add them and I divide by 2. 2 plus -4 is -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. So this is my coordinate. So you have 2 questions exactly like number 9 on there tomorrow. Take the X's, add them, divide by 2. Take the Y's, add them, divide by 2. The last question is a midpoint formula one, but it is not on the quiz because it has you find the other end point. So I'm going to use a scratch piece of paper. There in space. So this is XZ, because it says XZ. And it says Y is the midpoint. So X is -10, 9. Y is -4, 8. I need to find Z, which is X and Y. So this is not on your quiz. This is kind of like extra practice. I'm going to take my X values. I'm going to add them together. So -10 plus X. The formula says I have to divide by 2. And this time I know the answer. It ends at -4 because of X. I do the same thing for the Y values. So 9 plus something, so Y divided by 2 equals, the answer should be 8. So I have to solve this for X and Y. So I'm going to multiply by 2 to both sides to get rid of the denominator. So I have -10 plus X equals -8. And then I add 10 to both sides to get rid of the -10. So X equals 2. Do the same thing for Y, multiply by 2 to get rid of the denominator. 9 plus Y equals 16. And then -9 to both sides. So Y equals 7. So the coordinate is 2, 7. This is not on your quiz tomorrow. It's kind of like extra practice from the harder versions. This is on the test next week, but it's not on the quiz. So the ones that I think that you need to look at the most are 1 through 4, number 5, and number 9. So 1 through 4, 5, and 9 are very, very similar to your quiz.